I stood at the iron gates of the house I once called home. My chest felt heavy, my palms damp, but my lips curved into a faint smile. I rang the bell. The door opened, and my mother's face appeared. She froze. Her eyes widened like she'd seen a ghost. "You." Her voice cracked. Double quotes. "Yes, me." I stepped inside before she could stop me. "Surprised?" Her hands trembled, but she forced a smile. "Of course I'm surprised. We thought you were gone forever. Look at you grown, healthy, alive," I corrected. "Strange, isn't it? I survived without you." Her lips twitched. "That's not fair. Things were complicated back then." "Complicated." I let out a dry laugh. "Is that what you call throwing me out?" Before she could answer, Father's deep voice echoed from the hall. "Who's there?" She hesitated. "It's him." His footsteps grew closer, firm, commanding. When he saw me, his jaw tightened, though his eyes flickered with something unreadable. "So," he said flatly, "you decided to come back?" "Decided?" I tilted my head. "No, I didn't come back for you. I came because I heard whispers. Whispers that the perfect family was falling apart." He frowned. "Watch your tone. You're still my son. Am I?" I asked quietly. "Funny, I don't recall being treated like one." Before the silence could thicken, a familiar voice cut in. Well, look who crawled back," double quotes, Daniel. He walked down the staircase slowly, each step heavy with arrogance. His smile was sharp, his eyes glinting with amusement. "Brother," he said, stretching the word like it was a joke. "Didn't expect to see you alive, honestly." I clenched my fists, then loosened them. "I didn't expect to see you still basking in the spotlight," he smirked. "Some things never change." "No," I said, my voice steady. "Some things do." Mother touched Daniel's arm. "Don't start. Tonight should be welcoming." "Welcoming," I repeated, staring at her forced smile. "Is that what this is supposed to be?" Father cleared his throat. "We've all made mistakes. What matters is you're here now." I laughed bitterly. "Mistakes? That's what you call abandoning your own child? Mistakes?" Daniel rolled his eyes. "You're still so dramatic. Always the victim." I turned toward him. "Victim? You had everything. Food, clothes, love, respect. What did I have?" "You had your freedom," he said casually. "Didn't you always hate living under this roof?" "You mean the roof where I was treated like garbage?" I snapped. Mother stepped in quickly. "Please, let's not argue. Let's sit, talk." As a family, I stared at her long and hard. Family. That's a word I don't remember belonging to. We moved to the living room. The walls were decorated with photos of Daniel, his school trophies, his graduation, his engagement, his face everywhere, like he was the only child who ever mattered. My chest tightened, but I said nothing. Mother poured tea, her hands still trembling. "You must tell us. What have you been doing all these years?" "Surviving," I replied. "That's it?" Father pressed. "Surely there's more." I leaned back. "Is there a reason you suddenly care?" His eyes narrowed. "We're your parents. We'll always care." I smirked. "You care now that I'm standing in front of you? When I was starving, when I slept on cold floors, where was that care?" Daniel sipped his tea lazily. "If you came here to cry about the past, save it. Nobody wants to hear your sob story." I turned to him slowly. "Maybe not. But one day, you'll choke on it." His smile faltered for a moment. Mother quickly interjected. "He doesn't mean that. He's just tired. Let's give him time." "No," I said firmly. "I don't need time. I just needed to see it with my own eyes." "See what?" Father demanded. I met his gaze. "That nothing has changed. You still look at me like an outsider. You welcome me only because you need something." "You always need something," Mother stiffened. "That's not true, isn't it?" I asked coldly. Daniel leaned forward, his grin returning. "Maybe you're right. Maybe we do need something. But isn't that what family is for? His words hit me like a warning. My gut twisted. Something was hidden beneath their fake warmth, something darker than I'd imagined. I stood. I've seen enough for tonight. Leaving already? Daniel mocked. Afraid of the truth? No, I said, walking toward the door. Afraid of becoming like you. Father's voice boomed. Don't walk out. You'll regret it. I looked back once. Their faces were painted with smiles, but their eyes cold, hungry. Regret? I whispered. No, I regret ever calling this place home. And with that, I stepped into the night. I walked back into the house the next morning. My eyes trailed along the walls. Every frame carried Daniel's face, Daniel on stage, Daniel in uniform, Daniel smiling beside my parents. Not one picture of me, I muttered. Some things never change. Mother's voice followed quickly. Breakfast is ready. Sit, please. At the table, Daniel leaned back in his chair, smug as ever. You remember this seat? You used to fight me for it. Guess who won? I smirked faintly. Seems you never stopped winning. Father coughed. Enough. We have more important matters. Daniel grinned. What, you're finally going to tell him? I looked between them. Tell me what? Mother's smile was too tight. Daniel has been unwell. His health is fragile. I frowned. Unwell? How bad? Daniel shrugged like it didn't matter. My kidney. One's failing. Doctors say it's only a matter of time. Silence fell. My chest tightened, but not from sympathy. Something darker. I asked slowly. So why am I here? Father folded his hands. We thought you should know. As family? Family? I repeated, staring at him. You ignored me for years. Now suddenly, I'm family. Mother reached out. Don't say that. We regret, no. I cut her off. You don't regret. You need. Daniel leaned forward, eyes sharp. You're right. I do need. And who better than you? My own brother. The words sliced through me. You mean you want my kidney? Nobody spoke. The silence confirmed everything. I laughed bitterly. So that's it. Not a reunion. Not forgiveness. Just a transaction. Claire appeared then, stepping into the room. She was beautiful, dressed flawlessly, her smile warm but practiced. Don't be upset, she said softly, moving closer. We're asking because you're the only one who can save him. Isn't that what brothers do? I studied her carefully. And you are? Claire, she said with a graceful nod. Daniel's fiancée. Daniel smirked. She's perfect, isn't she? Perfect at what? I asked coldly. Her smile faltered, but returned quickly. At standing by him? At keeping this family strong? We all love Daniel. He's everything. Her words struck deep. I wasn't part of that we. So you're asking me to cut open my body, bleed for him, just because he's your everything? Claire's eyes softened. I'm asking you to do it because he's your brother. Surely you still have some love left. I stood, my chair scraping the floor. Love, you don't know what you're asking? You don't know what it costs to give when you've never been given anything back. Mother's voice rose sharply. Don't twist this. He's dying. Would you really let your brother die? My fists clenched. You let me die a long time ago. Daniel slammed his hand on the table. Stop playing victim. This is about me, not you. I glared at him. It's always been about you. Every moment, every breath in this house. And now even my blood has to be about you. Father's voice was low, almost threatening. Think carefully. Refuse, and you'll regret it. I leaned closer, my voice like ice. I've lived with regret since the day you threw me out. You can't scare me anymore. Claire stepped between us, hands raised gently. Please don't fight. This isn't about blame. It's about life and death. Her words lingered, but her eyes betrayed something else: fear, calculation, desperation. I turned toward the door. Life and death? Yes, and you've chosen whose life matters. Mine never did. Mother's voice broke behind me. Where are you going? I didn't look back. Anywhere but here. The house was silent as I walked out, but my heart was a storm. I finally understood why they wanted me back. Not as a son. Not as family. Just as spare parts. The dining table was covered with polished silverware and expensive dishes, but the air felt heavier than stone. I could barely taste the food. Father cleared his throat. It's time we speak openly. I leaned back. Finally, no more pretending? Mother forced a smile. You misunderstand. We've only wanted what's best for all of us. I laughed quietly. All of us. Or just him. Daniel's fork clattered. Say it straight. You know why you're here? My chest burned. Then say it yourself. Father's eyes narrowed. Daniel's life depends on you. Your kidney will save him. That's the truth. There it was. The words hit harder than I expected. Mother leaned closer. It's not just about him. It's about family. About sacrifice. About love? Love? I scoffed. Where was that love when I begged for food? Where was family when you threw me away? Daniel rolled his eyes. Always dragging the past. Can't you let it go? I'm sick, and you're wasting time with old grudges. Old grudges. My voice trembled. Those grudges are scars. Scars you gave me. Uncle Richard, who had been silent until now, chuckled darkly. Scars or not, you're still their son. You owe them something. And if you're smart, you'll give it before you lose what little place you have here. I glared at him. And what's in it for you, Uncle? A bigger cut of the inheritance if Daniel survives? His smile widened. I don't deny it. But let's be honest, nobody without this family. Do this, and maybe they'll finally accept you again. Accept me? I slammed my hand on the table. I was never accepted. Not once. Mother's voice shook. We were strict because we loved you. You misunderstood. No, I snapped. You loved control. You loved Daniel. You loved appearances, me? I was disposable. Daniel leaned forward, eyes blazing. Stop whining and act like a brother. I need this kidney. You're a match. It's your duty. The word sliced through me. Duty. My duty was to survive when you abandoned me. And I did. Father's voice thundered. Watch your tongue. You will not speak to us like this. Or what? I challenged. Throw me out again? You already did that once. It nearly killed me. Uncle Richard smirked. Don't forget you wouldn't even be alive if not for them. You should be grateful you were born here at all. Grateful. My throat tightened. Grateful for being discarded? Grateful for being reminded every day that I was less than him. Daniel's hand slammed the table. Enough. You'll do it. Because without me, this family falls apart. And deep down you know it. I stared at him. You really believe the world revolves around you, don't you? It does, he said coldly. I am the future of this family. You're just spare parts. The room fell silent. His words cut deeper than any blade. Mother's eyes filled with tears. He doesn't mean that. Yes, I do, Daniel said without hesitation. Why lie? That's what he is. Spare parts. My chest ached, but my voice stayed calm. Thank you. At least the truth is finally out. Uncle Richard leaned back, satisfied. So what's your answer? Will you be wise and do what's necessary? Or stubborn and make enemies of your own blood? I pushed my chair back slowly. If my blood is poison, why would I give you more of it? Father's tone hardened. Think carefully. Refuse, and you'll regret it your whole life. I stood. I've been regretting since the day you shut the door in my face. What's one more regret to add to the list? Mother reached out desperately. Please don't do this. You're his only hope. I pulled my arm back. He was always your only hope. I was nothing. Remember that, Daniel sneered. You'll come back. You don't have the courage to watch me die, I met his eyes. You'll be surprised what I can watch. The tension cracked like glass. Nobody spoke as I turned toward the door. Uncle Richard called after me, smug. You'll return. They always do. I didn't answer. My chest was heavy, my heart torn between rage and heartbreak, but my feet carried me out. Away from their table, away from their bargains, away from the family that only saw me as flesh to be carved. I sat in the penthouse office, glass walls stretching over the city I had claimed piece by piece. Yet my thoughts weren't on the skyline, they were still stuck at that dinner table. Michael placed a folder on my desk. You've been quiet since last night. I saw everything I needed to, I muttered. They asked for your kidney, didn't they? His tone was sharp, knowing I didn't answer. My silence was enough. Michael scoffed. Unbelievable. After everything they did, now they want your body on the table? You should expose them. Show them who you've become. I looked at him. And what would that prove? That I survived? They'd only twist it. Say I owe them for raising me. They didn't raise you, he snapped. You raised yourself. You bled for every cent you earned. I leaned back in my chair. Do you remember the nights we spent in that abandoned warehouse? Counting coins, eating stale bread? He nodded. I remember. And I remember how you never gave up. You clawed your way into boardrooms where they said you'd never belong. Now you own companies they can't even dream of touching. I gave a bitter smile. And yet, when I stood in that house, none of it mattered. I was still the unwanted son. Michael crossed his arms. That's because you let them see you that way. You hide everything. The cars, the estates, the accounts, they're all in silence. Why? I sighed. Because I wanted to build without needing their approval. I wanted to know it was truly mine. He shook his head. And now? They think you're nothing. They think you're desperate to belong. Why not crush them with the truth? Because part of me, I hesitated. The words heavy. Part of me still wishes they'd look at me and see more than spare parts. Michael's eyes softened. You still want their love. I looked down at my hands. Is that weakness? No, he said firmly. It's human, but don't let it blind you. They don't want your heart. They want your kidney. There's a difference. His words struck deep. I stayed silent, my chest tight. Michael opened the folder. Our expansion in Europe is finalized. The hotels, the shipping line, it's all under your name. You could announce it tomorrow and shake the entire market. One press release. And your family would realize the son they threw away controls more than they could ever dream. I tapped the desk slowly. And then what? Watch them come crawling with fake smiles? This time for money instead of blood? Better to be begged as a king than treated as trash, Michael said coldly. I chuckled faintly. You sound like you enjoy the idea of revenge more than I do. I enjoy justice, he corrected. You bled in silence while they feasted. Now, you can decide if silence is still enough. I rose from my chair and walked toward the window. The city lights glimmered, thousands of lives beneath my feet. All of it mine. Yet inside, I felt hollow. They think I'm powerless, I whispered. They think I came back because I needed them. They don't know I could buy and sell their empire before breakfast. Michael stepped closer. Then let them know. Stop hiding. Stop pretending you're the weak one. I closed my eyes. Their faces returned, mother's trembling hands, father's stern glare, Daniel's smug smile. And if I do? If I show them everything, will it change anything? Or will they still see me as the son who was never enough? Michael's voice was steady. It won't change them, but it will change you. You'll finally see that you never needed them. I opened my eyes, staring at the glass reflection. My own gaze looked back at me, hard and unflinching. Maybe it's time, I said quietly. Maybe silence has lasted long enough. The knock on my door was soft, hesitant, almost rehearsed. I opened it to see Claire standing there, eyes red, lips trembling. She wore sorrow like perfume. May I come in? She asked gently. I stepped aside without a word. She entered, glancing around my apartment as if weighing every detail. It's simple, she whispered. I thought you'd live differently. Differently how? I asked, with more comfort. more pride. She forced a smile. But I suppose hardship makes us humble. Her words pricked. I gestured to the couch. Say what you came to say, Claire. She sat, folding her hands like a saint. Daniel doesn't have much time. The doctors said weeks, maybe less. Without a transplant, her voice cracked. He's my whole world. You're his only hope. I watched her carefully. And you came to beg? I came to remind you that blood is thicker than resentment, she said, leaning closer. I know your past with the family isn't easy, but Daniel isn't guilty of their mistakes. He's your brother. My jaw tightened. My brother who laughed when they abandoned me. Who called me a failure at every turn? That brother. Her face faltered, but she recovered quickly. He was young. People say things they don't mean, but he's sick now. Doesn't that matter more? I leaned back. Why do I feel you're rehearsing lines for a play? Claire's eyes glistened. Because I'm desperate. I can't lose him. Silence stretched. I wanted to believe her tears, yet something about them tasted false. Then she slipped. If Daniel goes, everything goes. The family business, the reputation, the contracts they'll collapse without him. I raised an eyebrow. The business? Her breath caught. I mean, without him, father will fall apart, mother too. Well, all you said it clearly the first time I cut in. It's not just about saving Daniel. It's about saving your empire. Claire's mask cracked, but she pressed on. Yes, the family depends on him. Investors, partners, they all see Daniel as the pillar. If he dies, the name crumbles. You can prevent that. I laughed, sharp and bitter. So that's it. Not love. Not brotherhood. Not redemption. Just reputation. She flinched. That's not fair. It's the truth, I said coldly. You don't see me as family. You see me as spare parts. A tool. Her tears fell, but her eyes betrayed calculation. Call it what you want, but you can save us. Isn't that power worth something? To finally prove you matter? Her words ignited something dark in me. For years, I begged for their approval. Now, she begged for my mercy. You think I still crave belonging? I whispered. You think I'm the weak boy they discarded? She leaned forward, seizing my hand. Then show them you're strong. Show them you're better than their cruelty. Donate, and they'll never forget it. I pulled my hand free. No, if I do it, they'll forget the moment Daniel breathes again. They'll praise him, not me. Claire's lips trembled. You'd let your brother die out of pride? Pride? I smirked. No, out of memory. Out of scars? Out of survival. She rose suddenly, anger cutting through her act. Do you want to watch your parents break? Watch the empire sink? Is that your revenge? Her outburst revealed everything she tried to hide. I stood slowly meeting her gaze. For the first time, I realized something. You all depend on me? The family you abandoned me, for its survival, rests in my hands. That is sweet. She stepped back, startled by the tone in my voice. You wouldn't, I would, I said firmly. I could watch it all burn and feel no guilt. Because none of you felt guilt when you left me to starve. Claire's mask shattered completely. You're cruel. No, I whispered. I finally learned cruelty from the masters who raised me. She froze, then turned toward the door. If Daniel dies, his blood will be on your hands. Maybe, I said calmly. Or maybe it will be on the hands that pushed me away years ago. She left without another word. The door clicked shut, but her voice lingered in my head. For the first time, I didn't feel powerless. I felt the weight of their desperation pressing against me, and it tasted like the sweetest poison I had ever known. The dining room was heavy with silence when I entered. My parents sat at the head, Daniel beside them, and Claire hovering near like a shadow. My grandmother sat quietly at the end of the table, frail hands folded, eyes sharp despite her age. Mother broke the silence first. You've been avoiding us. I've been thinking, I replied, taking my seat. Father leaned forward. Thinking won't save your brother. Action will? I looked at Daniel. And what has he done to save me? Nothing. Daniel slammed his fist on the table. You're still hung up on the past? I'm dying, and you're clinging to old grudges. Old grudges? I laughed bitterly. You mean nights I starved while you feasted? Days I froze while you wore new coats? Those aren't grudges, Daniel. They're scars. Mother's face tightened. We did what was best at the time. I snapped. Best for who? Him. You. Certainly not me. Father's voice grew stern. You were weak. You couldn't handle the pressure. Daniel could. That's why you chose him, I cut in. That's why you left me behind like trash. Daniel sneered. And yet here you are, acting like you're above us. You think because you crawled back with a little pride you can lecture us? A little pride? My voice shook with rage. I built myself from nothing. While you were handed everything, I bled for scraps. Claire tried to intervene. Please, stop. This isn't helping. I glared at her. Stay out of this. You already showed me your true colors. Mother's voice turned icy. If you loved us at all, you'd save your brother. Loved, I whispered. You never wanted my love. You wanted my silence, my obedience, and now my kidney. Daniel leaned forward, eyes burning. Yes, I expected. Because I am worth more than you. I always was. His words froze the room. Even Claire shifted uncomfortably. I stared at him, my chest tight. At least you're honest. Finally, grandmother's voice broke the tension. Weak but steady, she whispered. Don't give them anything, my child. Not your blood, not your soul. Everyone turned to her, stunned. She met my eyes with rare tenderness. They never gave you love. Don't let them take what little you have left. Mother hissed. Mother, please. But grandmother lifted her hand. Enough. I've watched you worship one son and destroy the other. And now you beg from the one you abandoned. Shame on you, my throat tightened. You were the only one who ever cared. Her smile was faint, but real. And I still do. Father slammed his hand on the table. This conversation is pointless. You will donate whether you like it or not. I stood slowly. No, I will never bleed for you again, Daniel shouted. You selfish bastard. You'll let me die? I turned to him. If my death years ago meant nothing to you, why should your death mean everything to me? The room erupted. Mother cried out. Father cursed. Daniel raged. Claire tried to calm him. Voices overlapped, screaming, demanding, accusing. I raised my hand. Enough. Silence fell, jagged and heavy. I looked at each of them. I came here, hoping maybe foolishly, that something had changed. But nothing has. You're still the same, and I won't be your sacrifice. Grandmother whispered softly, almost to herself. Good. My brave boy. I walked to the door. Behind me, Daniel screamed my name, spitting curses, demanding I turn back. I didn't. My voice was steady as I said, I will never shed blood for this family. Not again. And then I left, their shouts fading into the night. I sat in the corner of their once grand living room, the lights dim, the silence sharp. The air smelled of stale wine and desperation. Father broke first. The investors pulled out again. Another contract gone. Mother rubbed her temples. They're vultures. They smell weakness. Daniel coughed violently, clutching his side. Claire rushed to him. Don't talk business now. He needs rest, Daniel snapped. Rest. While everything collapses? I can't even stand without help, and you expect me to rest? I spoke quietly. Maybe it's time you faced the truth. You built your empire on arrogance? Father's glare cut through me. Don't sit there mocking us. You could solve this with a single choice. No, I said calmly. I already made my choice. Mother's voice trembled. How can you watch your family drown like this? Do you feel nothing? Did you feel anything? I shot back when I begged for food and you turned away. Daniel groaned, his face pale. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'm watching, I answered. Karma enjoys it for me. Claire's voice cracked. People are leaving us. Friends, partners, even the board is against us now. Friends? I laughed. They were never friends. They were leeches. Just like you. Father slammed the table. Enough. You think this is justice? You think you're better than us because you walked away? I leaned forward. I don't think. I know. Look around, your empire's ashes are proof. Daniel's cough deepened, filling the room with dread. Claire clutched his arm. Please, can't you see he's dying? I looked at him. He's dying because he lived like a king while others starved. You all did. Now the crown is crushing him. Mother burst into tears. We gave everything to Daniel because he carried the weight of this family. No, I said. You gave everything to him because you wanted glory. Now you're watching it rot. Father's voice broke, a sound I never expected. Do you hate us so much? I hesitated. I don't need to hate you. The world already does, Claire whispered, almost to herself. The creditors, the lawsuits, we can't fight all of them. I stood slowly, walking toward the window. You thought you were untouchable. Now even your shadows are leaving. Mother looked up sharply. You speak as if you know something. Rumors, Daniel muttered. They say you have money, power, lies, of course. You could never what? I asked, turning to face him. Survive without you. Build something of my own? You're wrong. His eyes narrowed. You're bluffing, Father barked. Ridiculous. If you had wealth, you'd flaunt it. You'd shove it in our faces. I smiled faintly. Maybe I don't need to flaunt it. Maybe I prefer silence. Their silence afterward was heavier than any scream. Claire finally broke it. If it's true, if you really do have power, why watch us fall? Why not help? I met her eyes. Because I owe you nothing. Not pity, not mercy, not even a single coin. Daniel coughed again, blood flecking his lips. You'll regret this. When I'm gone, you'll carry that guilt forever. I stepped closer. I carried guilt for years, guilt for being born wrong, for never being enough. That guilt died long before you started bleeding. Grandmother's frail voice drifted from the hallway. She had been listening, her steps slow as she entered. He owes you nothing. This collapse, it is your harvest. Mother gasped. Mother, don't, but Grandmother shook her head. I warned you when you threw him out. I told you one day the golden boy's shine would blind you. Now you are blind indeed. Her words silenced everyone. Even Father's anger dimmed. I whispered, almost to myself. The empire you worshipped more than blood is turning to dust. Daniel's eyes blazed weakly. You're poison. No, I replied. I'm the antidote you refused to take. Claire buried her face in her hands. Everything's slipping away. Mother reached across the table, tears streaming. Please, if you ever loved us, help. I looked at her trembling hand. If I ever loved you, you would have known it years ago. But you never saw me? Father leaned back, defeated. So you'll just watch? Yes, I said simply. I'll watch as the empire you chose over me burns. The room was filled with Daniel's labored breathing. Mother's sobs, Father's silence, Claire's despair. Grandmother's eyes met mine, soft, yet firm. Let it fall, my child. Some empires must burn for truth to live. I nodded faintly. Outside the window, I saw the city lights flicker against the night. Inside, their world crumbled piece by piece. For once, I felt no guilt, only clarity. The knock on my door was nothing like Claire's soft rehearsed tap. It was frantic, heavy, almost breaking the wood. When I opened it, the sight stunned me. Father on his knees, Mother clinging to him. Daniel pale and trembling, Claire hovering behind with red eyes. Father's voice cracked. Please hear us out. I froze. On your knees? That's new. Mother's tears spilled. We were wrong. We see it now. All the years, all the cruelty, please forgive us. I stepped back, forcing my voice to stay steady. Forgive you? After everything? Daniel coughed, his voice hoarse. I can't last much longer. Please, brother. Save me. The word brother from his mouth burned. You only remember I'm your brother when you need my body. Father lowered his head further. We'll give you anything. The company, the inheritance, respect. You'll be acknowledged as the heir. I laughed bitterly. Acknowledged? I was never invisible. You just chose not to see me. Mother reached for my hand, her voice shaking. We'll change. We'll treat you as you deserve. I pulled back. You can't rewrite history with promises. Daniel's eyes glistened. Then what do you want? Money? Power? Name it. I'll give it if I live. I leaned closer, my words sharp. What I wanted was love when I was a boy. What I wanted was food when I was starving. What I wanted was shelter when you threw me out. None of you gave that. Now you think I want your scraps? Claire finally spoke, her voice desperate. They're broken. Don't you see? They've lost everything. You've already won. Why not show mercy? I turned on her. Mercy. Where was mercy when I begged outside locked doors? Where was mercy when they called me weak? Father's forehead pressed against the floor. I'm begging you as a man stripped of everything. Help us, Mother sobbed, her voice raw. We are nothing without you. Daniel's whisper was almost a whimper. Don't let me die. Their voices blended, pleading, broken, drowning in despair. For a moment I felt something stir, a shadow of the boy who once longed for their love. But then I looked at them closely and saw, if this wasn't love, wasn't remorse, it was desperation. You still don't understand, I said softly. This isn't about me. It's about what you can take from me. Daniel reached forward weakly. No, it's different this time. Please, I cut him off. No, it's the same. Always the same. You see me as a tool, not a son, not a brother. Just flesh. Mother shook her head violently. That's not true. I raised my voice, trembling with rage. It is true. If Daniel were healthy, I'd still be the forgotten one. If your empire stood strong, you'd never crawl to me. This isn't love. It's fear. Silence followed, heavy as chains. Father didn't deny it. Mother couldn't meet my eyes. Daniel closed his mouth, lips trembling, but words gone. I took a step back toward the door. I survived without you. Now you will learn to survive without me, Mother cried out, clutching at my sleeve. Please don't go. Don't leave us like this. I pulled free, heart pounding. You left me first. Father's broken voice echoed. We're your family. I stopped at the threshold, turning once more. My throat burned, but I forced the words out steady. Family doesn't abandon. Family doesn't bleed one child to save another. Whatever we had died long ago. Their cries filled the hall. Daniel's hoarse pleas. Mother's sobs, Father's whispers of shame. Claire said nothing, only watching with wide, hollow eyes. I turned my back on them, tears stinging but refusing to fall. As I walked away, their voices followed me like ghosts, begging, accusing, breaking. But I kept moving. For the first time, the weight was not mine to carry. The call came at dawn. Father's voice shook on the line. He's gone. I stayed silent. Daniel, he didn't make it, he whispered. Come, please. I hung up. Later that day, I stood at the gates of the family estate, watching from the shadows. Their mansion, once loud with arrogance, was now a hollow shell. Mother staggered onto the porch, her voice breaking. Why him? Why not me? Father slumped beside her, older than I'd ever seen, because we relied on him for everything. And now there is nothing. I stepped forward. Nothing? That's all that remains of your golden empire? They both looked up, their eyes hollow. Mother whispered, Your brother is dead. Are you satisfied? No, I said quietly. There's no satisfaction in death. Only truth. You built your world on him, and now it's gone. Father buried his face in his hands. I don't know how to go on. Now you know how I felt when you cast me out, I replied. A car pulled up. Claire emerged in a sleek black dress, face hidden behind dark glasses. She walked past the sobbing parents without a glance. Claire? Father croaked. She adjusted her bag. I'm leaving. Daniel is gone, and with him, my future here. I won't drown with you, Mother screamed. How dare you? Claire's voice was ice. You thought I loved him? I loved the wealth, the name. Without it, he's just another corpse. I stepped toward her. So quick to abandon the family you swore to protect, she smirked faintly. Survival, darling. Something you know all about. She slid into the car, never looking back. Mother collapsed into tears. Father muttered, even she, I echoed, saw you had nothing left to give. A door slammed inside the house. Uncle Richard stormed out, clutching a suitcase. Where are you going? Father shouted. Richard sneered. You're finished. I'm not sticking around to starve with you. Whatever scraps are left, I'm taking them, you thief. Mother shrieked. He laughed bitterly. From thieves I learned well. Then he disappeared down the drive. Silence followed, except for Mother's sobs. I looked at them, broken shells of their former pride. The friends are gone, the wealth stolen, the heir dead. Tell me what remains. Father lifted his head slowly. Only regret. Mother whispered, only emptiness. I exhaled, my chest heavy. Then you finally learned what I carried all my life. Father's voice cracked. Do you hate us still? I hesitated, then shook my head. No, hate would mean I still cared enough. I feel nothing now. Mother reached toward me weakly. Stay. Help us rebuild. I stepped back. There's nothing left to rebuild. You destroyed it long ago. The wind rustled through the empty courtyard. Their eyes followed me, pleading, desperate, but I couldn't stay as I turned to leave. Father whispered, we chose wrong. Yes, I said softly. You did. I walked away, each step heavy but certain. Behind me, the house crumbled not from fire or time, but from the weight of loss. The golden boy was gone, and with him, the empire that once cast me aside. The earth was fresh, the soil still dark where Daniel had been laid to rest. I stood before the grave, my hands cold, my heart heavy. Does it feel final? Michael asked softly beside me. I didn't answer at first. My eyes lingered on the name etched in stone. Daniel Carter. Beloved son, cherished heir. Golden boy, I whispered. He had everything. And still, he wanted more my blood, my life. Now, here he lies. Michael's voice was careful. Do you regret not giving it? I shook my head slowly. I regret that it ever came to this. But no, I don't regret saving myself. A frail hand slipped into mine. My grandmother, her eyes clouded with years but sharp with truth, leaned close. My child, she murmured, you chose wisely. Do not let guilt poison what strength you found. I swallowed hard. Grandmother, he was still my brother. She sighed. Blood is not always family. Did he ever stand for you? Did your parents? No. You walked alone, and you survived. That is what matters. Michael spoke again, firmer this time. She's right. Look at them now broken, hollow. They used you until they couldn't, and when you refused, they crumbled. You owe them nothing. I closed my eyes, memories rushing back. The nights I starved, the cold benches I slept on, the endless laughter from inside warm houses while I shivered outside. I whispered, yet part of me still wanted them to love me. Grandmother squeezed my hand. That part is your wound. And wounds take time to heal. But never mistake longing for weakness. You did not abandon them, they abandoned you. Silence stretched. A crow cawed overhead. The graveyard smelled of rain and wilted flowers. I finally said, then what is family if not blood? Michael placed a hand on my shoulder. Family is who stays, who believes in you when the world doesn't, who doesn't measure your worth in sacrifice. I looked at him. You've stood by me through everything. You've seen what I built, what I hid. Why? He smiled faintly. Because you never gave up. Because you fought when anyone else would have fallen. And because I believe you deserve to be more than their forgotten son. My chest tightened. and yet I still feel the scars. Good, he said. Scars remind us we lived. Grandmother nodded. And survived. I stared at Daniel's grave one last time. They buried him with gold, flowers, prayers. But when I was left alone, I had nothing. I crawled through dirt, not silk. And somehow I lived. Michael's voice dropped. So who truly won? I let the question hang. Not triumph, not victory, just truth, I whispered. He died clinging to the throne. I walk away free. Grandmother leaned close, her whisper trembling yet strong. Leave this soil behind. Do not chain yourself here. You have a life, live it. I nodded, my throat tight. Then this is goodbye. Turning from the grave, I walked down the path. Michael matched my stride, silent, steady. Behind me, the voices of my parents drifted faintly, broken and brittle. Mother's cry carried through the damp air. Daniel, my son, my only son. Father's voice cracked. Why? Why him? I didn't look back. Michael spoke low. They'll never understand, will they? No, I said. Because understanding would mean admitting what they did to me and you. He asked, do you forgive them? I breathed out slowly. Forgiveness isn't mine to give. They'll live with their emptiness. That is their punishment. We reached the gates of the cemetery. The iron bars groaned as I pushed them open. Grandmother's voice followed me. Walk proud, my child. You are not their shadow anymore. Tears blurred my vision, but I held them in. Michael glanced at me. Where now? I managed a faint smile. Forward. Always forward. He chuckled softly. Then let's go. You've got an empire waiting. I looked once at the sky, the clouds parting faintly to reveal a strip of light. I am no longer the abandoned son, I whispered. I am the man who built his own destiny. The past clung like scars, but the scars no longer chained me. I walked on.